Lawnmowers, boats, and dirt bikes. What do they have in common? Well, actually, they all have two-stroke engines. Hi, how's it going? My name is Daniel, and today I'm going to be explaining how a two-stroke engine works. In a two-stroke engine, there are four main stages. There's suction, compression, ignition or power, and exhaust. But before we jump into that, let's go over some components and terms that I'll be using throughout the video. Starting from the bottom, we have the crankcase, in which the crankshaft rotates to move the piston up and down. The piston moves inside a chamber called the combustion chamber, and up top we have the spark plug. Additionally, we have something called top dead center. This is when the piston is fully extended and reaches the top. On the other hand, we have bottom dead center, which is the lowest point the piston will be at throughout the cycle. Additionally, we have three main ports: the exhaust port, inlet port, and transfer port, in which the air and fuel and exhaust move throughout the engine. Now that you're familiar with these components and terms of a two-stroke engine, we can talk about the main stages. The first stage is suction. As the piston reaches bottom dead center, the air and fuel mixture is compressed in the crankcase. Notice how the piston blocks the inlet port from allowing any more air fuel to enter the crankcase. Due to the increase of pressure from the compression, the air and fuel mixture is transferred from the crankcase to the combustion chamber through the transfer port. The next stage is compression, in which the piston travels to top dead center. Notice how the exhaust port and inlet port are blocked off by the piston. However, new air and fuel enters the crankcase through the inlet port for the next stroke. As the piston travels to top dead center, temperature and pressure increase in the combustion chamber. The increase in temperature and pressure leads us to our next stage, called ignition. Right before the piston reaches top dead center, the spark plug ignites the air and fuel mixture in a controlled explosion. This increase of pressure sends the piston right back down towards bottom dead center. Notice how the exhaust and inlet ports are blocked, but the inlet port is open. This allows for more air and fuel to enter. After the piston is sent back down to bottom dead center, the exhaust port is exposed and the spent air and fuel is let out through the exhaust port. The new air and fuel mixture in the crankcase begins to compress again, and the cycle starts all over again. As I mentioned earlier, the crankshaft spins to allow the piston to move from top dead center to bottom dead center. But what exactly allows the crankshaft to spin? There's actually a main bearing called the crankshaft bearing that's inside the crankshaft. That gets lubricated as fuel travels from the crankcase to the combustion chamber. If you have an incorrect fuel and oil mixture, this can cause the bearing to go dry, and when this happens, the bearing stops spinning. If the bearing doesn't spin, the crankshaft won't spin, and the piston will not travel, causing the engine to seize. Now, to conclude everything, today you learned about the four main stages of a two-stroke engine: suction, compression, ignition, and exhaust. These four main stages can be easily remembered by suck, squeeze, bang, and blow. And lastly, we talked about how this engine can fail. I really hope you learned a lot. I want to thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.